Good morning YouTubers, it's Kunal here, bringing you with a whole new video about tips and suggestions of Gixxer SF. So that's my web out there, and today I'll be sharing some of my experiences with the Gixxer SF, and also will be giving out some tips and suggestions to improve your bike's performance and maintain your bike. So as I mentioned in my previous video regarding the modifications which I made to my Gixxer SF. Okay, sorry about the dog. So as I mentioned in my earlier video regarding the modifications which I made to my Gixxer SF, the first one is Z light and the horn. So I wouldn't be talking about the horn, as in my previous video the sound was not clear, and even this time I wouldn't be able to do it. So coming to my headlight, the first thing I need to say is the xenon bulb, as I mentioned it earlier.
HID kits have one big advantage because their bluer lights is closer to natural daylight than the light from halogen bulbs. They provide better nighttime visibility. If you often drive on unit roads, that can mean a big improvement because you will be able to see the road more clear. These HIDs won't damage your battery because it is built like that so that it puts out a stable output of power to the bulb, and the bulb here is of 35 volts, so there is no stress to your battery. And the bulb which I am using here is 8000K HID xenon bulb. You get different variants of this. The 8000K defines the color temperature, so you are like 4000K, 6000, 12,000, and as you go up, the color of the bulb gets more bluer and more bluish, so it goes on like that. So as you have noticed, I even changed my pilot light. So this pilot light costed me somewhere around like 30 bucks. Sorry, it's inside. I'll just fit it once. So the light which I used here is 6 LED push light, which you will be getting for 30 bucks. That too in Ramkoti, as I mentioned earlier. And be careful while selecting these bulbs, because if the bulbs are not good, then what happens is, because of the amount of power from the battery, the bulb gets damaged. So go for the good ones. And remember one important thing: when you're starting your engine, don't start the engine while your headlight is turned on, because it's a HID kit, a high intensity discharge kit, so it requires a lot of power. So when you do that, it may lead to damage of the bulb or even the battery. So keep that point in mind. And another important safety tip to be kept in mind is high beam headlights can block the vision of the person coming in the opposite direction for a second and two, which is really dangerous. And people who are using these type of lights, keep one thing in mind: always keep your lights in the low beam, because the fitting of your lights are way powerful, and the person coming in the opposite direction will be completely blank, which may lead to many accidents. And the owners do not follow the practice of blacking the beam to reduce its intensity. So headlights should be on low beam while following another vehicle, and they should be properly focused so that your light doesn't scatter much and doesn't cause any nuisance to the person coming in the opposite direction. And it's absolutely essential to keep the chain cleaned and lubricated to prevent catastrophic failure, at best which would result in snap chain, at the worst can lead to binding and locking of drivetrain, which could lead to injury, death or engine damage. So always lubricate your chain, keep it neat and clean so that all these things doesn't happen. If you ride your bike in bad weather conditions daily, then you need to lubricate your chain more frequently. And yeah, as you can see, I met in an accident 2 weeks back, and this is the damage which is caused to my bike, scratches and broken dooms. And there's other place where the dome got broke. So this is the other place. I really feel bad and it's such a pain actually for me. So I thought of doing some stickering but still didn't. And yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. I lubricated my chain in the service center in the nearby showroom. So it cost me like $70 for me, that's it. So you guys also need to do it. And take really good care of your bike. And if you want good and decent mileage from your bike, the optimum RPM level to be maintained when your bike is in neutral is 1000 to 1500 RPM, not more than that. Because if it's more than 1500 RPM, it leads to heating issues and also decreases your mileage. And if you don't know how to set the ideal RPM, I will show you guys. So as you can see, there will be a screw here. This is the idle screw here, so from which you will be setting your idle RPM. So if you rotate this screw towards the right side, your idle RPM increases, and if you rotate the screw towards the left side, your idle RPM decreases. This is how you set the idle RPM. And I can also suggest you the optimum RPM you can rev up to in each gear. So if you're in the first gear, so you can go up to like 4000 to 4500 RPM. And so when you're in the second gear, so the best RPM is like 4000 to 4500. When you're third gear, go max up to 5500 RPM. In the fourth gear, 6000 RPM. In fifth gear, it's 6500 to 7000 RPM. So if you want to maintain a good mileage, be in this limit. Otherwise, if you don't need a good mileage, then it's up to you, because 9500 is the limit. Rev up as much as you want.